Chants of religious fervor fill the air at a mosque in central Somalia. These men are followers of Sufism or mystical Islam. For the first 20 years of Somalia's civil war, Sufis completely avoided the conflict. But a decade ago, they were forced to pick up arms and join the fight against Al-Shabaab. Their shrines were being destroyed, their leaders were being killed, their beliefs were under withering attack.
It's the terrorists who forced us to take up arms. When we saw foreign fighters and foreign ideology invading our country and wishing to wipe out all our efforts to spread a more tolerant version of Islam, that is when we decided to defend ourselves and our belief.
For 10 years, the Sufi fighters fought Al-Shabaab and managed to retake the group's strongholds in the windswept plains of central Somalia. The Sufi fighters are perhaps the only local group to go up against Al-Shabaab fighters and win. The group's leadership say this is due to strong support from local communities, which explains how they were able to move from a bunch of men who had never squeezed the trigger to a proper fighting force. In a surprise move 2 months ago, the group decided to have their fighters integrated into Somalia's national army. Former Sufi fighters were disarmed, had their biometrics taken, and were included into the ranks of the government forces.
We agreed to have our fighters integrated into the federal forces to give them an opportunity to replicate what they did in these parts and help save the entire country from Al-Shabaab.
Abdi Mohamed Sabriye is Somalia's interior minister. He says the addition of Sufi fighters into the national forces has been a huge boon for the government.
It was inevitable to integrate the Sufi fighters into the national forces. We cannot claim to have a government when entities outside it continue to have their own forces. Nonetheless, we're happy to have such an effective armed group bolstering our ranks.
The Sufis say their fight with Al-Shabaab is far from over. They say the conflict in Somalia is an ideological one, and they say they will now use their tolerant brand of Islam to turn the tide against Al-Shabaab. Mohamed Adu, Al Jazeera, Lusamareb in central Somalia.